kind of injury that we can see insects doing on many kinds of plants is leaf mining. And leaf mining is produced by insects we call leaf miners, and these would be insects that develop within a leaf. They tunnel between the upper and lower surface, and if they're in a conifer, we'd call them a needle miner. So you're going to see some sort of spot on a leaf where it has been tunneled out. It might be in the form of a blotch, it might be tunneled in some sort of serpentine, meandering track, but you can tell it's a leaf miner rather than something else that might have made a spot on the leaf by the ability to tease the upper and lower surface apart. The insect has tunneled the area in between, and that would indicate that a leaf miner has been active. You can also perhaps see the insect where some frass is left behind. And there are many kinds of insects that develop as leaf miners. 4 different orders of insects include leaf miners on one kind of plant or another, including sawflies in the order Hymenoptera, various caterpillars, leaf beetles, a few of them are leaf miners, and many flies develop as leaf miners as well. But usually we talk about leaf miners in the kind of pattern that they produce on the plant, the symptom they produce. And the primary 2 ways that an insect will develop as a leaf miner would be to make a serpentine kind of pattern where it makes a tunnel continuously over the surface of the plant, or a blotch type where it makes a mine in a single area that gradually expands. And there may be derivations of these 2 types of general patterns that a leaf miner might produce. A blotch type of mine is what we often see, and it includes our most important leaf miner that we have in a vegetable garden. That would be the spinach leaf miner, which is a type of fly. We'll talk about this a little more later. And there are blotch mines that are of a special type, we call a tentiform type, that we might see on some of our fruit trees, in particular apples, as well as some of our plants that we have growing in the yard, such as cottonwoods or hackberry. The tentiform leaf miners get their name because it's a blotch mine, but they produce a little silk. They're kind of caterpillar, and they produce a little silk within that mine, and as the mine dries out, it kind of puckers up a little bit, and it creates a little, like a pup tent kind of mine. And then there are the serpentine mines, and in the vegetable crops, the kinds of insects that make serpentine mines are usually some kind of fly, a vegetable leaf miner. We might call them generically several different ones that we'll see, and these again would be mines that are in a meandering form. They are smallest where the insect laid the egg, and as the developing larva gets larger, you can see the pattern of the mine getting wider and wider, and then at the very end you might see the insect pupate, and then the emerges to repeat this cycle. Lots of these vegetable leaf miners on many different kinds of vegetable crops. Rarely are they an issue, but they are often a curiosity, and all of them are the larvae of very small flies. Again, it can be an issue if you have a lot of it and what you're trying to sell is being damaged in this way. But these leaf miner flies in most garden settings and most vegetable production areas have abundant natural enemies, so they keep their numbers fairly low without us having to do anything about it. But there is one insect that is pretty common, at least in backyard vegetable production, and that's the spinach leaf miner. And this is an insect that makes quite a conspicuous leaf mine, a big blotch mine that sometimes is dark, and it's on the leaves of plants that we may wish to eat, notably spinach or Swiss chard. It feeds on several plants that are closely related to this. In the Chenopodiaceae, the spinach and beet and chard would be garden crops that we grow regularly that are all quite susceptible to spinach leaf miner, but it's also quite common on lamb's quarters, which is a close relative of these commonly grown plants. Makes a blotch mine in all of them. Now, the insect is a kind of fly, and the adult stage is a fly that you would rarely see. It's a little smaller than a house fly, but again, you don't see it. A stage, though, that you might see are the eggs. The flies will lay eggs in small clusters on the underside of the host leaves. And these can be seen contrasting against the green of the leaf. You can see these little white batches of eggs that may be 2 or 3, maybe up to maybe 10 or 12 at most. And one thing that you might consider doing is to regularly check the leaves for the presence of the egg-laying activity of this insect. This tells you when it's happening. If you want to intervene in some way, the easiest way would just be to regularly check these leaves and then crush the eggs as you see them before the insects have entered in and begun to work as a leaf miner. Once the eggs do hatch, the insect enters the area between the leaf. It's quite small in the beginning, but over the period of about 2 weeks it can become full grown and creates quite extensive tunneling. And since multiple eggs are usually laid in a batch, the kind of blotch it produces is quite large and quite conspicuous. And obviously, since we are trying to grow these plants, or at least in the case of spinach or chard, for consuming the leaves themselves, this would make it unappealing and would be a direct kind of injury. If everything goes well for the fly, it will pupate. Usually in the mine or late in the year, it'll drop to the ground and pupate in the soil. And the pupae in the soil is the stage that winters. But during the growing season, you'll have multiple generations. So the adults are out very early. They'll complete a generation perhaps in a month. They'll have a second generation. Things slow a little bit in the heat of the summer, but then they resume activity in the fall. But the overwintering stage will be a pupa in the soil, and then the adults will emerge from that the next spring. So what do we do about spinach leaf miner in a backyard setting? One thing would be to avoid continuous culture of host plants. And there are several host plants. Again, this is an insect that can go to beet, or it can go to spinach, it can go to Swiss chard, it can go to lamb's quarters. And we can set ourselves up for having chronic problems with this insect if we have continuous culture of these types of plants, so that there's hosts always available. Conversely, we can get a handle on it by breaking its life cycle, by having a period when we're growing none of these. So I think probably one of the situations where people have a culture of these plants that gets them in trouble is trying to overwinter spinach or beets every year, and that provides a ready host very first thing in the spring, so the insect is able to immediately jump onto available plants and build up its numbers and be more common throughout the spring crop at least. So perhaps consider having a break where you might start brand new every spring instead of trying to overwinter all the time. This is an insect, if you could till the garden bed, the pupal stage is going to be in the soil, and if you were to deeply till and turn it under a few inches, that should prevent them from successfully emerging the next spring. This is an insect that you can inspect for before it does the damage and look for the egg stage. Again, not big, but if you are flipping over leaves, it's something that most people could readily see, and then you just give it a little pinch and crush the eggs. So that's probably one of the best things for most people to try. Now you could take it a little further and consider row covers. Row covers are a bit of a problem for some people to use. It's a lot of work and material, but it can prevent an insect from migrating onto a plant and laying eggs on it. As long as the pupae are not underneath where the row cover is, you wouldn't want to use these, for instance, on overwintered spinach, because the pupae would be in the soil right around the base of the plant and would be emerging underneath the row cover. But if they're moving from another spot, the row cover could prevent them from colonizing these plants. And finally, insecticides. Probably not an option for most people, and particularly for gardeners. There is one insecticide that does have registration called spinosad, and this would be used at times when eggs are being laid, which again is something you can see, but most people probably don't want this option. They like to keep at least the leafy vegetables pretty free of insecticides, but it is an option. It is registered for this purpose. So I think that winds up our discussion of the leaf miners on vegetables. Later we'll talk about leaf miners on ornamental plants, trees, and shrubs. But for right now, we're done.